lot of things that can be leveraged that are really accessible right now. Again, I was working my full-time job. I had my kids. COVID hit. And by then I had already developed most of the formulas. Because of the network that I had built on social media with other content creators in the curly hair community, I had them testing my products. So I think it's always good to build a community and be genuine with people again. Because I reached out to them and I said, hey, you guys saw this. I'm trying to build this. Would you test it out for me? I got reviews and everything. So, again, I had worked on it for almost a year in making the formulas. And I was doing all of this out of the kitchen of my home. And I did it even after launch for another 6 months out of my kitchen. And then I moved into my garage. But to kind of transition to that, I leveraged a lot of the relationships that I had built in the curly community for people to test them out. When I finally launched, it was at the beginning of the pandemic. We had no idea what was in store, right? We thought a few more weeks. And so I kind of was hesitant on, okay, when do I launch kind of thing. But it was Earth Day coming up. And again, I have to have some accountability because if not, I'll just let things linger and then it would have just kind of phased out. So I was like, okay, we're doing this for Earth Day. So I set the launch date. I think it wasn't even a month out. I think sometime in March I was like, okay, we're doing this April 20th. So launched April 20th. Thankfully, because I had already built an audience through my social network, my following, and then through the influencers that I had sent out the samples to, we sold out within, I believe it was the first week that we sold out of the first batch that I made. And that was pretty cool. I was like, okay, there is a market here, right? But again, because I'm working, now it's the pandemic, my kids are home full-time, going to school full-time at home. I'm trying to finish my master's degree and all of this, and we're stuck at home. It was whenever we couldn't even go out. I was like, okay, I don't have that much time to be making this because again, now I'm making it in my kitchen. So I don't have time to cook and all of that. So it took me another month to make another batch of product. So I put it out again the next month and then it sold out within 2 days. So I was like, okay, we really do have a market for this. And we did that for 6 batches. It went like that. And by the 6th batch, it sold out within the first hour. And I was at capacity. I could not make any more the way that I was making them. So I was like, okay, now it's time to scale. And how do I scale this? So I bought some, I again kept doing research on Google. I looked on YouTube, and then I was taking in from because there wasn't really anybody doing what I'm doing, and especially not that we're putting content out there on how to do this. So, I was just learning from other soap makers and others okay, here's some things that they're doing that I could use. So I bought some industrial equipment, and I converted my garage. My dad helped me and converted my garage into a shop. So we worked there for another 8 months probably. And then I was moving to Stillwater because my daughter was going to OSU. Okay. So I found out about the incubator program that Oklahoma runs, which anybody that's starting a business or that has a small business that's already been launched, look into the incubator program. I highly recommend. It's a great program. There's so many throughout the Oklahoma City metro area, throughout the state. And they do a lot of guidance for you for, how to scale businesses, how to run your business plans, all of that. But then they also have office space, warehouse space, manufacturing space. I mean, there's kind of they can fill the need, the gap for a lot of different needs. There's a really big perk to it. They can find out. Just Google it. You guys will find out. There's really great perks to that program. I happen to land in Meridian because they have one out in Stillwater. Sure. And they had a really good space for me. So I stayed out there for a year. I was in Stillwater with my daughter and then moved back to Edmond. And they had just opened up the facility where we met up in Guthrie. And so I moved into that shop June of last year.